Okay, I'm going to try to do a short book haul. I know this won't be the only one in March, so we'll say this is part one. I have 4 from Amazon Marketplace. I bought them all used. 4 from the local thrift store that I bought a couple weeks ago, and then one I just bought at Dollar Tree today, which prompted me to go ahead and do this video. I've been meaning to do it for quite a while, so that just made me go ahead and do it now. I'll start with the ones from Amazon. I have the Cat on My Lap, Stories of the Cats We Love. I like nonfiction, and I am a cat lady, as is my fiance. He's a cat man. But this one is just little short stories. Probably could knock this out in a couple of hours. And they sent me a free bookmark. And then I have The Nightingales of Troy by Alice Fulton. This one was in acceptable condition, and it's readable. It was a penny plus shipping, so I had a gift card. I didn't spend anything on it, so it's fine. This one I'm gonna read the back of because it sounds so weird. Set in Troy, New York, these beautifully entwined stories follow a quirky and resilient family through the 20th century. In 1908, Mamie Garahan faces tuberculosis in childbirth, aided only by her arsenic-eating sister-in-law and fallen nun. In the 20th century, I believe there are no saints left, Mamie remarks, but her descendants test this notion with far-fetching consequences. In tones that range from tragic to hilarious, Alice Fulton creates an emotionally stunning portrait of a family confronting their dilemmas with bravery and abiding love. And I cannot remember where I saw this. I don't think it was anywhere on BookTube. It had to be just one of those random browsing through Amazon or somewhere and found it. And it just sounds so weird but good. So I want to try to get to this one soon. And then I have Corelli's Mandolin, Louis de Berniers. I don't know how to say it. I'm probably one of the last people in the world to want to read this, and I have never seen the movie, Captain Corelli's Mandolin. So I like anything wartime, set in the war, so this one should be a good one for me. It has really great reviews. And then this one, actually, I don't know. It will depress me, and it's an accident. I had ordered another one of those nonfiction-y cute cat books, and the seller, Thrift Books, sent me something totally different. It's an animal book, but I'll probably end up sending it to someone else. It's Paws from Heaven, edited by Callie Smith Grant. It's just little stories of animal angels. I mean, I might, but if it has to do with sick or dying pets, I don't handle that very well. Okay, and then the thrift store books, I have 4. The first one is The Mists of Avalon, which this one is old and beastly. Apparently it's #1 in a series or trilogy or something along those lines. And of course I asked Nancy, my future mother-in-law, have you read this? And she like, of course, I have them. They're on my bookshelf. You need to start looking on my bookshelves before you start buying these books. So, if I like this first one, then she has the other, so I'm all set. And this one's kind of King Arthurian. That's even how you would say it. So it's kind of an epic story, epic series, strong female characters, and all that funness. And then I have, yeah, I have 4. I thought I had shown you another one. Shine, 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 Lydia Netzer. I really liked this cover. Oh, and by the way, the ones from Amazon, I paid, I think, no more than 50 cents a piece, and then plus the $3.99 shipping. All of these that I'm showing you from the thrift store were 99 cents, plus Tennessee tax, which is 9 cents to the dollar. So this one is basically a husband is a NASA engineer, and he's kind of come back to the real world, and I think he's just trying to figure out how to get back with his relationship with his wife, and but he ends up going back into space, and the wife's pregnant, and something happens in space, and All I know is when I read the synopsis at the thrift store, I thought it would be really good. So, and again, pretty cover. I'm totally cover by girl. And then this last one, well, not the last one. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, this one, I'm going to have to read you the inside flap because it's so weird. It sounds good and like nothing, honestly, I have ever read before. But it's Just Like Beauty, Lisa Lerner. And excuse my crying cat in the background. It says, for 14-year-old Edie Stein, the road to Deansville's annual Feminine Woman of Conscience pageant is strewn with pitfalls. True, she's an ace at mystery powders, and she's come a long way in freestyle walking and better person skills, but she's increasingly troubled at the prospect of offing her genius bunny, Alice Jones, in the sacrificial rabbit event. And despite the strenuous coaching of her mother, training for the Electric Polly Rubberman erotic arts competition has been a disaster. Edie just can't stop thinking about the girl next door, sexy Lana Grimaldi. No question, adolescence is a trying time, all the more so when the bizarreness around you exceeds the sci-fi within. A gang known as the Blow Torturers runs amok, maiming would-be contestants. Boys will be boys, but disfigurement is grounds for disqualification. A plague of mutant grasshoppers storms the neighborhood topiary. An underground suicide cult gains momentum and begins to exert a disturbing pull on Edie's imagination. Torn between her loyalties, her passions, and her ambitions, Edie careens her way towards pageant on an emotional roller coaster by turns hilarious and touching, tragic and absurd. Can she find a way to seize the day and discover what it means to become a genuine feminine woman of conscience? Set in the not so far away future, Just Like Beauty brilliantly taps into the ever sharper hunger for authenticity in an increasingly ersatz world. So, again, like nothing I have ever heard of, so it sounds like it's going to be funny and interesting. And then the last one I got is Berlin Diaries, 1940 to 1945 by Marie Velishnikov. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it's basically a Russian princess who worked in the German Foreign Office from 1940 to 44 and then as a nurse. It's basically her going to Berlin and her experience through the war and thereafter, I believe. And the last one I got is another beastly book. I don't know why. I think I'm going to get all these large books and plow through them when it takes me forever. But it's The Zenith by Duong Thu Hoang. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But this one is basically Ho Chi Minh right before the fall of his empire in it's basically he's kind of in a mountain retreat hiding at the end of all of his reign, and he's thinking about his secret wife and children that he wasn't ever able to bring out to let anyone know about. And it was just one of those things that when I saw that it's set in Asia and it's historical, recent historical, of course I wanted to get it because it was $1 and it's like there are some little scuffy marks on it, but other than that, it's brand new. So that is all I have for now. I have 3 books coming from Book Outlet. Liz actually had them on her haul and they sounded really great, kind of like a sci-fi series or trilogy, I should say, which I'm starting to get into. So those I'll show in a future haul. So thanks, Liz, for pointing those out. You are definitely an enabler. And then I finally finished Crimson Petal in the White. The ending really ticked me off to no end. Now I understand why it had so-so reviews on Goodreads, because it's almost like drop the mic. No conclusion, so you kind of have to leave it to your imagination as to what happened. So I can be all happily ever after in my mind, but it would have been nice to there be a wrap-up. I still think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, so I enjoyed it, but that cliffhanger and no sequel, just And then I am reading Dune by Frank Herbert. I think I'd mentioned in my last video I was going to start it. I'm a little less than halfway through it. I thought I was going to have mixed feelings about it being an older, kind of one of those science fiction books that started the whole don't want to say started the whole genre, but everybody kind of considers it to be that way. I'm actually really enjoying it. Some parts are really dry, I'm not going to lie, and my eyes glaze over and I skim. But at the most important parts, this is Evan's favorite book series, and I keep texting him or on the phone going, oh my gosh, are you serious? I can't believe that happened. Or, oh. So he goes, oh, just wait. And I had bought him a surprise present that I wasn't going to tell him about. And he goes, trust me, I'll ruin Dune for you if you don't tell me. So kind of got manipulated there into telling him. But, yeah, I'll definitely finish the first book. It might take me a while to get to the second and there on out, because I want to read a lot. I have so much I want to read, and I always get this one book that plods along and I'm slow, so I'm ready for faster paced. So after that, well, I'm actually reading with my friend Amy, Wings by Danielle Steele. Yes, I know that sounds so cheesy, but we had never read it. We were talking about how we used to like her, and it's one of the historicals, so those are the ones I actually enjoyed that were her older. So I'm reading that on ebook. I don't think I have a physical copy anymore. So that, and then possibly I will go to the James Patterson book that I said in my last video that I was going to read. And then for a while, I just want to wing it. Just pick mood reads, not worry about it, just try to enjoy, because granted, I only set my Goodreads goal for 30 this year, and I'm ahead of schedule. I feel like if I only read 30 books for the year, I'm going to be really sad, because I read, don't quote me on this, it was at least 70, more than 70, less than 80. So I don't think at all I'm going to get anywhere near that, but I would say 50 would be a comfortable number. So I'm going to try to speed up the pace, maybe pick some shorter books. I know the whole point, and I'm rambling and I'm almost done, the whole point of reading is to enjoy it, not to read as many books as you can, but I have so many, and I have so many that I acquire that I need to get to it. I need to get to it. So this is Zucifer. Zeus. Zucy, Zucifer, Zucifruit. He has all sorts of names. But that is it for me. Let me know what you're reading. If you've read any of these, or if you've seen any of these, if they're interesting, let me know. But I will probably have another video for you guys shortly. See ya. Bye.